Action Comics issue 1014 sees Perry meet with Marisol Leone, who tells him she owns the Daily Planet now. She apologizes for her discretion and wonders how they go about revealing she is the owner. Perry says a profile in the paper is usually tradition, but she isn't interested in that, and all she cares about is selling papers and clicks. She asks Perry who Leviathan is, and he hoped that it was her, since they would be able to break the story. Leone asks what it will take for the planet to be the one to break the story, and Perry says that money, as well as being allowed to work without her interference, will help. She asks about his friendship with Superman before telling Perry the only change she is implementing is the paper won't be publishing gossip anymore. Perry is very relieved about that, but isn't about to fire Trish Q. Instead, he's going to focus her on more important stories. Perry wonders why Leone came in today of all days, but she again asks how much money he needs, especially when she wants Lois Lane back in her office working on this story. Perry suddenly yells out that the TV got it before they did as they watch Superman fight a monster at Star Labs. Superman isn't happy about the creature rampaging through his city, so he takes it down quick. Star Lab scientists quickly arrive to remove the creature, and Superman asks them where it came from. As the scientists try and take selfies with the annoyed and frustrated Superman, Dr. Glory contacts him, knowing the hero was coming to the lab to talk about the Leviathan temporal energy signatures. Superman wants to know where the creature came from, and Glory says she thinks it's related to these portals, since the Leviathan portals are rippling the space between Earth and other dimensions, meaning this monster probably came from another dimension. She wants to take it to her lab to run some scans, and Superman tries to ask if the Leviathan has attacked any Star Labs, but she says no. But using his X-ray vision, Superman can clearly see the lab has been attacked from the inside, thanks to the creature breaking free from its experimentations. Clark writes up the Star Labs story, citing Superman as a source to implicate Star Labs in some illegal experimentations. Clark speed types out the story as Perry arrives, telling him to come with him. As they walk, Perry tells Clark that he's going to love what he's going to show him, since he's been summoned by their benefactor, and she is a big fan of Clark's. Perry implores him to take what he can from her as he introduces Clark to Leone, who thanks Clark for the Star Labs expose, thinking that they might have dropped the ball after the Phantom Zone incident. Clark says that after the Leviathan story, he'd love to write a profile on her, but she again dodges the question, asking how much Clark is worth, and if he's being paid what he's worth. Clark isn't interested in the monetary value of his worth, and wonders where Leone came from. Elsewhere, Mr. Strong meets with the mayor, who wants more of the new drug Apocalypse. Their meeting is interrupted by Thorn, who stabs Mr. Strong. Before she can kill the man, Thorn is attacked by the souped-up Red Cloud, who says that she's been looking for Thorn. Mr. Strong escapes with the mayor as Red Cloud uses her powers to enter Thorn and begin to choke her, saying people like her want this to happen, and wiping out Thorn serves a purpose and reminds everyone who is who. Clark meanwhile heads to Chicago to meet with Lois, who wonders why Clark asked where their new boss came from. Clark says that he thought everyone was putting their cards on the table during the conversation, and Lois doesn't need to worry, since he told Leone Lois was on assignment. Clark says Leone came from the suicide slums, and she made a series of smart investments over the years and soon had enough money to buy the Daily Planet outright. Lois thinks that she's a gangster of some type and wonders if Clark scanned her with her X-ray vision, but Clark says that that would be an invasion of privacy. Clark says, however, that she's completely normal and wants Lois back at the paper, so an offer will be sent to Lois's lawyer. As they talk, Lois notes that something is happening in the sky above Metropolis, so Clark races back to the city, seeing someone covered in electricity falling towards the Daily Planet. They miss the building and crash into the ground below it as Superman arrives, finding it to be Naomi McDuffie, who is in need of the Man of Steel's help. Action Comics issue 1014 was not like classic Bendis book, in that it was filled with fucking weird dialogue and strange motives for our characters that lead absolutely nowhere in the story. The book is essentially a Event Leviathan tie-in, more or less, but it can't be since it references Lois Lane's mini-series, which she isn't part of as Leviathan. She's researching something different, but then Superman never reacts to the events of that series, which just saw Lois being shot at by an assassin. So it's like Bendis doesn't realize that all of this stuff is happening at the same time, and he doesn't really seem to care enough to make any sense of it. Now he seems to be ditching these stories so his original character Naomi can come in and pal around with Superman and just make things even more confusing when Superman and Lois and all these characters really should just be focusing on Leviathan, not dealing with team-ups with Naomi and stuff. That could happen after that, and it really should have happened after that. Even the art is pretty awful for what is essentially a flagship Superman book. It's really, really not good stuff. I'm going to give this issue a 2 out of 10.